moment we take our first breath, we are surrounded by systems that shape how we see the world. These systems tell us what's acceptable, what's possible, and what's off limits. They define the rules we're supposed to live by. For most people, these structures are invisible, just part of everyday life. But for those who stop and question them, the cracks begin to appear. Why are people who challenge the norm often silenced or ignored? The answer is control. To hold on to power, those at the top must ensure the rest of us stay obedient, predictable, and unaware of their influence. Fear is one of their most powerful tools. Fear of being wrong, fear of standing out, fear of punishment. Fear keeps us clinging to what feels safe, even when it's not in our best interest. But fear isn't the only weapon. Division is another. By splitting humanity into categories, race, religion, politics, the system keeps us too busy fighting each other to see who really pulls the strings. These divisions might seem natural, but they're carefully created and reinforced by media, education, and politics. Then there's the psychological layer of control, the illusion of freedom. We're told we have free will, that our choices are our own. But how free are we when our options are curated for us, when our desires are shaped by advertisements, when voting changes nothing of real consequence? This illusion might be the system's greatest trick, convincing us we're free while keeping us in chains. This isn't about a single person or group controlling everything. It's a web, a network of interconnected systems, media, government, education, religion, all working together. At the center of this web are those who benefit the most, a small, hidden group that understands the power of staying out of sight. They don't need to control every individual, they just need to control the systems that influence us all. And yet this system wouldn't work without our participation. We're the ones who keep it running, often without realizing it. Parents pass down beliefs to their kids, shaping their perspectives before they even have a chance to think for themselves. Teachers follow strict curriculums that limit curiosity and discourage critical thinking. Neighbors and co-workers keep each other in check, ensuring everyone conforms to societal norms. This self-policing is the system's most cunning feature. It doesn't need enforcers everywhere, because we've been trained to enforce it ourselves. But how did this system come to exist? Was it something that naturally developed over time, or was it intentionally designed? Many believe this web of control was created on purpose, its threads deliberately woven to keep humanity from realizing its true potential. Over centuries, more layers of deception were added, until the system became so complex it feels impossible to escape. If the system was built, then it can also be taken apart. The first step to freedom is awareness, learning how the system works and spotting its influence on your life. Start by questioning what you've been taught, by seeking out ideas that challenge the mainstream narrative. It's not an easy path. The system is designed to make you doubt yourself, to mock and isolate those who think differently. But for those brave enough to ask questions, a deeper truth emerges, revealing a world far more intricate and extraordinary than we've been told. Control thrives in subtlety. It feeds on ignorance and apathy, but awareness is its greatest weakness. Once you see the strings, you can begin to cut them. Once you understand the game, you can choose not to play by its rules. This journey isn't without hardship, but it's worth every step. Beyond the system's walls lies a life of true freedom, one shaped not by fear, but by truth and self-discovery. Long before modern nations and recorded history, there were civilizations of breathtaking complexity. The remnants still stand, scattered across the earth, silently challenging the stories we've been taught about human progress. How did ancient societies, without advanced tools or machinery, build enormous pyramids, temples, and cities with precision that even modern technology struggles to match? What knowledge did they possess, and where did it come from? Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, for example. This structure has stood for thousands of years, aligned with astonishing accuracy to the cardinal directions. Its dimensions encode mathematical constants, including the value of pi. Some of its stones, weighing over 70 tons, were transported from quarries hundreds of miles away. How could a primitive society achieve such feats, and why do we see similar marvels in places like Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, and ancient cities throughout South America? Mainstream history claims these civilizations developed independently, separated by time and distance, yet the similarities are impossible to ignore. Structures thousands of miles apart align with the same star systems. Myths from different continents share strikingly similar themes. Stories of gods descending from the heavens, imparting knowledge and shaping humanity's future. Are these just coincidences, or do they hint at a shared origin, a hidden connection uniting these ancient cultures? Some suggest the advanced knowledge of these ancient civilizations came from beyond our world. Stories of beings descending from the stars are not isolated. They appear in the traditions of the Zulu in Africa, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Sumerians of Mesopotamia, and the Mayans of Central America. These beings were described as powerful, wise, and otherworldly. To the people of the time, they were gods. But what if they were something else entirely? What if their influence, and the knowledge they shared, has shaped human history in ways we've yet to fully understand? Across cultures, these ancient gods shared strikingly similar traits. They brought knowledge of astronomy, agriculture, engineering, and governance. They taught humanity how to build cities, grow food, and organize societies. Some were described as human-like, while others were depicted as reptilian or serpent-like beings. Could these stories be more than myths? Could they be fragmented memories of actual events involving beings whose origins remain beyond our understanding? Then there are the cataclysms, massive floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions that appear in the records of nearly every ancient culture. These disasters, it is said, wiped out advanced civilizations and forced humanity to begin again. The Great Flood from the Bible, the destruction of Atlantis, the sinking of Lemuria. Are these different names for the same catastrophic events? If so, what knowledge did these lost civilizations possess, and what secrets remain buried beneath oceans and deserts, waiting to be uncovered? Archaeological discoveries continue to upend what we thought we knew about human history. In South America, the Nazca lines stretch across the desert, vast geoglyphs visible only from the air, their purpose still a mystery. In Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, a site over 200 years old, challenges the timeline of human development, revealing that advanced societies existed long before agriculture began. These sites and others hint at a far older, far stranger story of humanity than the one we've been told. Why were these structures built, and what were they meant to achieve? Some believe they were temples for worship, others say observatories to track the stars, and some speculate they were ancient energy systems. But could their purpose go beyond humanity? Could these monuments have been created in collaboration with the very beings who brought knowledge to early humans? If so, what was the goal of these collaborations? Were humans merely tools in a larger plan? Or were we being guided towards something greater? The more we uncover, the more questions arise. These ruins and artifacts challenge the simple story of progress, from primitive to advanced. Instead, they hint at cycles of civilization, times of great knowledge followed by cataclysm and collapse. Perhaps we are just the latest in a long series of cycles, living in an age that has forgotten the lessons of the past. Our ancestors may have left behind more than ruin. They left clues scattered across the globe, waiting to be rediscovered. These clues point to who we are, where we come from, and what we might yet become. Beneath the rise and fall of empires lies another, more secretive story, the story of bloodlines. From ancient kings to modern leaders, some have claimed a divine right to rule, a lineage that separates them from the rest of humanity. But what if these claims aren't just symbolic? What if these bloodlines contain a secret that ties them to something far older, something far stranger than humanity itself? Ancient texts and legends speak of beings who came from the stars and intermingled with humans. The Sumerians wrote of the Anunnaki, gods who descended from the heavens. The Bible describes the sons of God who took human wives and fathered a hybrid race, the Nephilim. Similar tales appear across the world, suggesting a deliberate blending of human and non-human genetics that created unique bloodlines. Were these stories attempts to explain natural events, or do they hold evidence of a hidden chapter in our history, one that continues to influence us today? These hybrid beings, described as part human and part divine, often claimed positions of immense power in ancient civilizations. Pharaohs in Egypt were not just kings. They were seen as living gods, embodiments of divine authority. In Mesopotamia, rulers acted as intermediaries between humanity and the heavens. Even today, many royal families trace their lineage to so-called sacred bloodlines, linking themselves to myths of divine ancestry. But why have these bloodlines been preserved with such care? These lineages were not just symbols of privilege. They were seen as keys to power. Ancient societies believed that mixing human and non-human genetics granted these rulers unique abilities, sharper intelligence, extended lifespans, and an aura of natural authority that set them apart. Whether these traits were real or simply perceived, they reinforced the idea that these individuals were destined to lead, cementing their control over civilizations. Over centuries, these bloodlines spread and intermarried, consolidating their influence. They became the aristocracies of Europe, the dynasties of Asia, and the ruling families of the Middle East. Their reach expanded beyond borders, intertwining with politics, religion, and commerce. Through strategic marriages and alliances, they ensured their bloodlines remained pure, preserving what they believed to be their unique genetic heritage. But what were they safeguarding? What was so crucial about these bloodlines? Some argue that these rulers are more than remnants of ancient lineage. They are part of an enduring agenda. These families, it is said, are connected to a system designed to control humanity from behind the scenes. Their power can be traced through the creation of secret societies, influential institutions, and global organizations, all working toward a singular objective: consolidating power into the hands of a select few. Patterns in history reveal the recurring presence of these families in positions of influence. The same names surface repeatedly, from ancient royal courts to modern financial empires. Whether through politics, banking, or media, these bloodlines appear to have steered major historical events. They have financed wars, orchestrated revolutions, and shaped the rise and fall of nations. Is this all a coincidence, or is it evidence of a calculated plan spanning centuries? Their influence extends beyond visible structures of power. Through religion, education, and culture, they have shaped humanity's understanding of reality itself. By instilling beliefs, values, and social norms, they've cultivated a world where most people remain divided, distracted, and subservient. Their aim, some say, is not merely control over nations, but over the human mind, a form of domination so subtle that it's rarely questioned. However, these bloodlines are not untouchable. Their power relies on secrecy and the passive cooperation of those they govern. If their carefully constructed web were unraveled, their dominance could collapse. But dismantling this system requires uncovering the truth about their origins and motives. Are these families merely the remnants of ancient power structures, or do they remain tied to the forces that created them? And if so, what is their ultimate purpose? The story of hybrid bloodlines and ruling elites is not just about ancient kings or modern dynasties. It's a thread running through the fabric of human history, linking us to a past filled with mysteries and a future yet to be determined. This story challenges us to look deeper, beyond the surface of history, to understand who we are, where we come from, and where we might be headed. In the modern world, control has evolved into forms that are subtle, pervasive, and deeply embedded in the systems that govern our lives. While rulers of the past wielded power through armies and thrones, today's influence is exercised through technology, finance, and global institutions. Yet the ultimate goal remains unchanged: to centralize power, consolidate control, and keep the masses unaware of who truly shapes their reality. Surveillance is one of the most visible aspects of this agenda. Cameras monitor public spaces, algorithms track online behavior, and nearly every action, purchase, and movement is recorded. We are told this is for our safety, to prevent crime and protect freedoms. But as technology advances, the distinction between protection and control becomes increasingly blurred. The tools intended for security can easily be repurposed for domination, turning everyday life into a monitored existence. The push toward a cashless society is another step towards centralizing control. Digital currencies promise convenience and efficiency, but they come with significant strings attached. Every transaction can be traced, monitored, and potentially restricted. Imagine a world where your financial freedom no longer depends on how much you have, but on how closely you adhere to the system's rules. In such a scenario, dissent becomes not just a social risk, but an economic one, where stepping out of line could mean losing access to essential resources. The idea of global governance often emerges as a solution to humanity's biggest problems: climate change, economic instability, and international conflict. On the surface, this seems like a noble endeavor, but it raises unsettling questions. Who decides what is best for humanity? Can a centralized authority ever genuinely serve the people, or does it inevitably serve the interests of those who control it? History shows that concentrated power often comes at the expense of individual freedoms. Education and media are critical tools in maintaining this control. They frame the world in ways that align with the interests of those at the top. Critical thinking is often discouraged, replaced by conformity and blind trust in the system. Narratives are carefully crafted to shape public opinion, and dissenting voices are dismissed, ridiculed, or outright silenced. The result is a population that accepts the status quo without questioning whether it serves them. Health and technology have also become key elements of control. Innovations like artificial intelligence and microchip implants are presented as breakthroughs to improve lives. While these advancements have potential benefits, they also carry risks of unprecedented surveillance and control. A microchip under the skin could store your medical history, but it could just as easily store information used to track, restrict, or manipulate you. As technology advances, so does the ability to dictate how individuals live their lives. Crises often serve as catalysts for further centralization of power. Wars, pandemics, and economic collapses are used to justify sweeping changes that often erode freedoms under the guise of protecting society. The problem is consistent. A problem is created or exploited, fear is incited, and a solution is offered that consolidates more power at the top. What is presented as progress often hides a deeper agenda of control. At the core of these agendas is a desire for dominance, not just over nations and economies, but over the human mind itself. Division is a key strategy in this process. By keeping humanity fragmented, divided by race, religion, and ideology, the system ensures people are too distracted by fighting one another to see the larger game being played. This division creates a self-policing population, enforcing norms and rules that keep the system intact without the need for overt enforcement. Understanding how these dynamics work is the first step toward breaking free. Recognizing how division is manufactured and perpetuated can help dismantle it. Awareness is a powerful tool, and once enough people question the system, its power begins to weaken. The very technologies used to monitor and control can also be used to spread awareness and build resistance. The same systems designed to suppress dissent can be disrupted when people dare to challenge them. The future is not set in stone. It is shaped by the actions and choices of those who dare to imagine a different world. The agendas of control we face today are vast and complex, but they are not invincible. By understanding how they operate, questioning their narratives, and refusing to comply with unjust systems, humanity has the power to reclaim its freedom. When enough people stand together, the structures built to divide and dominate will crumble under the weight of their own deception. Breaking free starts with one powerful realization. The prison we live in isn't built from walls or chains, but from the beliefs we've accepted and the fears we carry. The rules, norms, and expectations that shape our lives are not universal truths. They're constructs designed to control and limit us. Recognizing this is the first step toward liberation. When you see the illusion for what it is, you begin to unlock the door to your freedom. Awakening to this truth isn't easy. It takes courage to question what you've been taught, to dismantle the narratives that have been fed to you since birth. It requires stepping outside the comfort of conformity and facing the discomfort of uncertainty. But with every question you ask, with every falsehood you challenge, the illusion weakens and the path to reclaiming your power becomes clearer. Awareness is your greatest weapon in this process. The systems of control, media, education, politics, religion, thrive on blind acceptance and participation. They tell you what to believe, what to fear, and what to aspire to, all while keeping you tethered to their agenda. But when you step back and see these systems for what they are, their hold on you diminishes. You stop reacting to their scripts and start writing your own story. To truly break free, you must reconnect with yourself, with others, and with the world. The systems of control rely on division, isolation, and fear. They keep us separate, suspicious, and competing against one another. But connection, real, authentic connection, is the antidote. When we come together in understanding, when we support each other on this journey of awakening, we become stronger than any force designed to divide us. Together, we can rediscover what it means to think freely, to live truthfully, and to embrace our shared humanity. This is not just a personal journey, it's a collective one. Every individual who chooses to awaken contributes to a ripple effect that can transform society. Imagine a world where millions of people see through the illusion, where the systems of control collapse under the weight of collective awareness. That world is possible, and it starts with you. Every question you ask, every assumption you challenge, every step you take toward truth adds to this transformation. My prayer is that proof is forever. You work with people to nurture them to a point where they are prone to changing their perceptions. Freedom isn't just about breaking the chains. It's about living with purpose. It's about reclaiming your life, your values, and your vision. It's about connecting with something greater than yourself and walking a path guided by truth. Freedom isn't a destination. It's a way of being, a journey you must choose again and again, every moment of your life. Reclaiming your sovereignty means taking control of your thoughts, beliefs, and sense of self. It's about refusing to let external systems define who you are or what you're capable of. The time to act is now. The systems of control are vast, but they are not invincible. Awareness, courage, and unity are the keys to dismantling them. And as free, unshackled, and awake, this journey isn't just your right, it's your destiny.